everyone, it's Shane Conto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to the Wasteland Retrospective here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network. And this is my weekly show where my guests and I each pick a film related in some shape or form, and hopefully by the end of this episode, you have two movies to go check out and add to your watch list. But joining me, it's the second Thursday every month. It is our fearless leader here at the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network, Mike Hilty.
Hello. How's it going?
We're doing fine, Mike. We're about to get spooked here
A little bit.
on the retrospective as we're doing a double dose of found footage horror, the taking of Deborah, Logan, and Paranormal Activity, which
Mm.
both of these were new watches for me. How about you, Mike?
This I've seen Paranormal Activity because I did a SIF sort for SIF Pop, which that was tough. Not because the movies are particularly good, but it's diminishing returns. And then cap that off with the straight to Paramount Plus fifth movie, which was awful.
I
Just
remember that
awful.
because
Um,
I watched that and reviewed it when it came out.
Yeah. So, and I think Deborah Logan, I think I've watched maybe about a third of it, and then like I either fell asleep or maybe got too scared and then didn't watch the rest. And now this is a first time rewatch. So for once in my life, there is a movie out there that I have seen that Shane has not.
Well, there you go.
Hmm.
And what's interesting, we'll start with the taking of Deborah Logan or
Hmm.
Deborah. And
Hmm.
this is from director Adam Robitel, who did the two escape room movies and also Insidious the Last Key. So
Hmm.
he certainly has some horror pedigree after this. Escape rooms interesting for sure.
First one is, and then the second one exists. So yeah.
Tournament of Champions. But we have the taking of Deborah Logan. An elderly woman battling Alzheimer's disease agrees to let a film crew document her condition, but what they discover is something far more sinister is
Dun
going on.
dun dun.
So, Mike, what were your general thoughts on the artist formerly known as The Taking, this film, The Taking of Deborah Logan?
I feel like this had a lot more to say about Alzheimer's than it did in terms of horror. So I appreciated kind of the parallels that kind of go through with what somebody is suffering from Alzheimer's. I have like one person that's kind of like three people removed from me that's has Alzheimer's, and but from people that I know that has had like direct family members who have had it, it's hell. It's just absolute hell.
Mhm.
And I think that this movie does portray that kind of in a it spins it a little bit more. Um, the crew of this, like I hated every single one of those people on the crew, but I don't like this got me pretty good with a couple jump scares, and I think this plays really well with the lighting and the camera footage. And like some of the effects, especially like when you kind of discover, oh, this thing is a snake. Okay. Some of those effects, mm, like, look, I'm not a huge fan of snakes. Who is, right? Who is? But
Some
I
people.
like that got me pretty good with some of the effects of how this demon looks when it's kind of like fully possessing Deborah.
Mhm. There is one moment with a small girl
No.
that is effed up
Oh yeah.
and was so unnerving to look at. And I'm just like, what is going on here?
Hmm.
And yes, there's multiple jump scares throughout with snakes because, like, setting up that kind of motif throughout the film.
Hmm.
And sure, the special effects, the makeup, and everything is really effective. I think Jill Larson has to get a lot of credit for
Oh
playing
yeah.
Deborah Logan, and she gives an amazing performance. You feel her struggle with the Alzheimer's and her health, but then she is freaky as hell
Hmm.
as this possessed woman, and you have her like she's so thin. She has this like Skeletor look to her when she's getting completely just demonic
Hmm.
and the snake person. And this film doesn't shy away from stuff. I was watching this with my brother,
Oh,
and he made a comment about because he was over for the weekend. He wound up watching both of these movies with me, and
oh, oh, buddy.
he made a comment about like she got real close to being naked, and he's just like, "Well, we missed out on old lady stuff." And then literally the next shot, he has without a shirt on. It's
Wrong,
like,
wrong.
because like
That
I think this, not to make light of it, but I think this film, on some level, when you strip back, like the
strip.
strip, the snake lady thing and the kid kidnapping thing and cultish kinds of things,
Mhm.
and that window was totally nailed shut. How the hell is it open now? Thing,
Yeah.
those types of things. When you strip it all away, this film is very raw in terms of how it deals with Alzheimer's and illness, and it's not afraid to be very raw and out there. And
Hmm.
I think the dynamic between Larson and Anne Ramsey, who plays her daughter,
Daughter. Yeah.
is so good. And
Hmm.
there's just so much there. It kind of makes me feel like I kind of feel bad that this movie didn't just focus on the Alzheimer's stuff, because it was doing it in a really honest way, in a very authentic way. But then it gave way to, like, she's a snake lady. The whole movie turns into that.
Well, not like I hate doing this, but I'm gonna do it anyways. About how if this would have been something where it's like, is it the Alzheimer's talking or is there something really up? I think that could have been just as effective of a way to tell the story, kind of like what you were saying. All the
They
other
give that
stuff,
away pretty early, and I
they
to your point, like that one shot of like there's no time lapse, and he's literally floor
oh, and then counter.
standing on the counter. And
Yeah.
it's just like,
Oh, okay. Well, something weird is afoot. Yeah,
yep.
if they would have ratcheted up that tension a little bit more
Mhm.
and kind of put some doubt in your head, um, I think that would have been a different choice, a
Yeah.
choice that I think I would have maybe preferred because the next movie that we talk about kind of does do that. It's like it kind of is like, is something really going on right now, or is this just some weird shit going on?
I think Robotel goes straight from, it's like a flick of a switch, where
Yeah.
it's like immediately, like, obviously she has Alzheimer's issues, but you know, like, something's weird going on. Like,
Hmm.
you get that way pretty easily. Like, how did this window get opened like that?
Hmm.
And I appreciate the camera work. I think they utilized the camera well to be like that whole sequence in that creepy room and stuff like that. And it's like, look at lady, and then turn around, and it's like windows open, and
Yep.
you're like,
Windows
oh,
open, she just pops up. Like the person who plays Deborah, she's got just that look about her. Like
mhm,
it's equal parts disappointment and just, I think I want to murder you right now. And
yep,
that, I think that's what kind of made her so effective because when you first meet her, she like she had been like recently diagnosed with
yeah,
Alzheimer's. She still had a lot of faculties about her, and then she also at first was like, I'm a pretty private person, so I don't
mhm,
want to be too terribly involved with this. And I'm sure that her daughter was like, "Man, we need the money for this. So
yeah.
can you please agree to this?" Um, as she starts to like, as her appearance starts to change a little bit, like like the scene at the hospital with like when they when they're giving her the spinal tap, like first of all, like spinal taps just make me kind of like a little bit edgy,
Mhm.
even if they go up to 11. But the way that her back looks, as like the snake skin is like taking over, and just
Mhm.
the way that her like this has a lot of like really like interesting body horror things,
Yeah,
which just I'm not a huge fan of body horror, but like
it's
this
really
and
effective
yes, it's very,
and
very
really
effective.
effective. Well,
Mhm,
and I feel like overall, I think this is a it's a good horror film. There's just elements where like there's some elements that could have made this really great, and it kind of gets dragged down a bit by one, the can't like this whole crew is kind of cartoonishly just like we're in a horror movie, and they're really uninteresting,
mhm,
which is in stark contrast to Deborah and her daughter,
mhm,
who are very interesting and are going through a lot. And I think those elements really work.
mhm.
And I don't like the reactions to a lot of the stuff from this documentary crew. They're just kind of silly
Oh yeah, yeah.
and a little bit too cartoonish for like this film feels like a very serious film
Mhm,
until they open their mouths
mhm.
like half the time. And then I do feel like things got a little convoluted in the third act where
You
like
think there's
you think where it's just like when did this movie turn into like cult little girl kidnapping and all these other things? It just
Mhm.
felt like it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I don't know if it was 100% effective. Like
No,
even
it
my
definitely
brother
isn't.
turned to me like we were an hour in, and he's just like, I'm starting to lose some interest.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
then it whips
I
you
get.
back in at the very end with some wild horror elements, as
Mhm.
in unhinged bottom jaw, snake lady mouth.
Yep, that got me pretty good. And I don't know if that doesn't get you pretty good, then you're probably a
You're a
robot or a
snake person.
sadist. Yeah.
You're a snake person too.
Yeah.
Um, there's the jump scares with the snakes
Oh
got
God.
me quite a few times
Yeah.
for sure.
Hmm.
But overall, I think Larson and Ramsey are like the real stars here. I think Robitel does a really fine job of getting some good scares and
Hmm.
horror out of this formula. Just feel like the crew could have been more interesting characters if they were going to keep going back to them reacting and stuff like that, which they do.
Hmm.
And it gets a little unfocused in the third act in terms of like, well, now this is starting to go in this whole entire other direction. I did appreciate flying TV scare.
Yeah.
Like that one like could see coming, like,
Hmm.
oh no, but then that still hit. That TV hit hard.
Well,
Literally hit
yeah,
hard.
yeah. TVs like that typically do hit a little hard. No, I agree wholeheartedly with everything that you're saying. Which I guess begs the question at that point: does the found footage format for this kind of go against the movie's detriment at this point? Because if this was just kind of focused a little bit more on Deborah and her daughter,
Mhm.
you take the documentary crew out of it, or you reduce their role a little bit. It's not found footage. I think some of it gets lost a little, but um, I don't know. Like I don't think that the found footage format for this particular movie, I think it gets you with some good jump scares, but overall, I don't think it was like essential to the plot the same way that it was essential to like Blair Witch or essential to Paranormal Activity, like at least the first two.
Which honestly, this might have even worked if it was like a home video kind of thing where like the daughter was documenting thing. Like, I don't think it was necessarily the found footage. It's the reliance on spending too much time with this camera crew
Hmm.
that's not very interesting and actually kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put them well. and I'll say this here. I'm not a huge fan of the Blair Witch Project, and
Oh,
here's one reason. I wanted them to get killed by the Blair Witch after
that's
probably 20 minutes
that's fair.
because they were unbearable to me to watch the movie.
Hmm.
I'm like, good, you're lost in the woods. Leave me the hell alone.
Well, I I had kicked the tires a little bit around picking Blair Witch because I only saw the first Blair Witch Project twice. The first time I saw it in theaters and I got motion sick from it. Like
Oh my.
it was like, oh, this is why I can't play Goldeneye. It's because like I can't do it. I just can't do first person perspective. But the second time I saw it, I was like, this isn't as good as I thought it was.
I feel like once it really gets into the horror stuff, yes, but like how much of that movie is just sitting around, like wandering around aimlessly in the woods, people yelling and being annoying because they're lost in the woods, and that was too much of the movie for me.
Yeah,
But this,
that's fair.
it almost got there with this camera crew. Like if they were more interesting characters, I think the found footage stuff would have worked perfectly fine. It's just I feel like they front loaded all of the character development and interesting character elements to Deborah and Sarah. It's just like, well, we don't have any more. Be a
Hmm.
bunch of dumbasses. So,
Yeah.
well, Mike, do you have anything else to add for the taking of Deborah Logan?
No, I don't.
Well, let's go over to paranormal activity. And after moving into a suburban home, a couple becomes increasingly disturbed by nightly demonic presence. This is from writer director Oren Kelly, who I haven't seen any of his other work. Oh,
Oh,
that's a lie. I just, I know that says producer. Trying to see what other stuff he's directed. Oh, he's only directed two movies. So it's just Paranormal Activity and then Area 51, but he seems to be a producer on a bunch
oh, okay.
of stuff. But we have Katie Featherston and Micah Slout, Sloat,
Sloat.
who Sloat, who play Katie and Micah. Wow, real creative.
Creative.
And they, you know, this is famous for being like the most profitable movie ever made because this was made for $5. Not really, but like
Dirt
almost.
dirt cheap. Yeah.
I'm trying to okay. So box office, this made so the budget for this movie was $15,000. $15,000. This made $193 million.
My God.
This made one, two, three, one, two, three, divided by 15. One, two, three. This made 12,867 times its budget.
Good for them. You
And
hear that? You hear
how did
that?
they make
You hear that, Marvel? You could make a movie for dirt cheap, even though this movie didn't have a whole lot that it needed in terms of like special effects
well, I was
or
about to say, to put this out there, this movie
no
was for
name.
$15,000 because it was literally made with like actual movie cameras,
Hmm.
and that's it. Like home video cameras. That's it.
Hmm.
And a house
Yep.
and
And
two
two
actors.
two no name
Yep.
actors as well.
But this film, well, before I get into it, Mike, what were your general thoughts on paranormal activity?
So I got caught up in the demand it fad that this started, which I thought that was like there's no way that this was going to be as good as they were advertising it. And truth be told, it's not. But it's like watching this in theaters with a giant group of people, that was an experience because
Hmm.
there was a couple moments in here that just got people good. And watching some of like the camera footage and
Mhm.
just watching this relationship kind of deteriorate a little bit and how it
Spiraling.
yeah, it was it like I kind of think that they should I think the franchise itself is done. Like it needs to be put to bed for a little
Mhm.
while. But the concept in terms of, hey, if you really want this in your home market, demand that your movie theater actually do it. I think that that's what this movie is going to be remembered for a lot more than the jump scares or the concept because they try to wring as much out of this concept as possible for 5 movies and again just diminishing returns at the end
Mhm.
of the day. Overall the movie I thought was good. It was effective. Like the effects are really good, like it's creative. I give it a lot of credit for that.
Mhm.
I'm kind of curious, how did you watch this and which ending did you watch?
There's multiple endings.
There's 2 endings, yeah.
Interesting. Well, I watched the ending where the guy got yeeted across the bedroom
Hmm.
and creepy lady comes crawling over and comes over and grabs the camera.
Oh, okay. Oh, there's 3 additional endings then. So there's an ending where the cops come and they pretty much they kill Katie. And then there's another version where she, kind of similar to how she like comes up to the camera.
Yeah.
Um, in the other version, she goes up to the camera, she looks at it, and then she slits her own throat. That one was like, okay, I think you took it too far.
This one, it comes up with text and it's like, his body was found and Katie was never heard from again.
The end.
The
Roll
end.
credits.
What was
Yeah.
the original ending?
I think the original ending was the one that I'm pretty sure the original ending was the one that you saw. So,
Okay. Well, then I watched it in its purest form,
yep.
where it's just like, F you, audience.
Hmm.
This is creepy, and it's going to give you a creepy ending because that look on her face when she looked at that camera, I'm like, nope.
Goodbye. No, thank you.
Oh, let me get to that point for a moment.
Okay.
Nope. How many nope out moments were in this movie? I would count about 100.
Mm.
So I do want to say one of my biggest pet peeves about horror films is the horror and the haunted house husband.
Yeah,
And Micah,
bro.
Bubby, baby, you are a haunted house husband through and through. No matter how much Katie talked about how screwed up things were, weird shit happening, you had video evidence, you're just like, but let's stay in the house. And it's like,
You
dude,
dumb. You dumb.
dude, dude.
Hmm.
And then it was too late.
Oh yeah, way too late.
So like I don't know if like did it take away from the film for me that he's such an obnoxious stereotype? Kind of. Because I'm like, you had like 15 outs.
Hmm.
This movie's an hour and 26 minutes.
Yeah.
There was something that was like Lakeith Stanfield screaming, get out, like over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But let's be real here, Mike. Who's this movie about? White people. They did all the white people things that white people will do in a horror movie.
Pretty
So,
much.
and
A lot of
for
gaslighting, a lot of
which I
a
will
lot of
say,
it's
I don't
fine.
know how I felt about Micah Sloat in terms of his performance. I can't like, was it just an performance, or was like Micah just that annoying of a character? Kind of.
It's both. It's both.
Yeah, I feel like Katie Featherston though did a lot of heavy lifting in this movie, and there's a lot of good emotional beats and moments where she's like letting it all out, and I'm kind of like, Featherston over here's laying it all out on the floor, pouring it
Mhm.
all out for the audience. And I can't say the same about her co-star.
No.
I
No,
will,
no.
yeah, I'll say that there's some really good, eerie, uncomfortable moments. Like, I think they really utilize the found footage element well here
Mhm.
because him walking around that house at night, I'm just like, nope, nope, nope. Goes out back, nope,
What's going on out here, you
nope.
guys? Mhm.
And like him finding her, like that was so uncomfortable, that whole entire sequence, him searching through the whole house and finding her outside. And then the picture in the attic,
No.
the the stepping on like the salt and stuff like that and the footprints, and you're just like,
No, dude. No. Just none of that. No.
I that one moment where she gets out of bed and goes around to the other side of the bed and
I
is looming
just
over, I swore, I'm like, she's gonna take a knife out and Micah's done. This
nope.
movie ends here.
Nope.
And
But
like
we
tells it,
still got a ways to go for that to happen. But yeah, that part was very interesting.
which I will have to say, once we got to the point where she got dragged out of bed,
Mhm.
that was unnerving to watch and incredible special effects.
Mhm. Yeah.
She gets pulled out of bed, and then when he goes downstairs with her yelling downstairs, and you're in the bedroom, POV of the camera, and out of nowhere, his body comes flying through the air. I'm like, what?
Mhm.
Like, it really got to that point where, like, there's really effective horror elements in this film. I just wish that one of those horror elements was not, you know, haunted house husband.
Mhm.
And after a while, he was barely a character.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He was.
But Katie was actually like an interesting character going through trauma and all of that baggage.
Mhm.
I thought that really worked well for this. I'm not surprised this has gone down as like such this giant, massive hit and beloved film. This really, between this and Blair Witch Project, they changed the game in
Mhm.
terms of films like this. And when you can make a movie for $15,000 and you make that much profit, like that's wild. That's something special for sure.
Yeah. So I'm assuming since you haven't seen this one, you've seen only have you seen the rest of these?
I have seen the most recent Paramount Plus one. Was it Last of Kin or something weird
Next
about
of kin or
Next of
some
Kin?
stupid shit like that. Yeah.
It didn't even feel like it was the same like series. I
Hmm.
felt like they just slapped on Paranormal Activity on it to sell. It actually
Yeah.
wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't even a Paranormal Activity movie originally and they just bought the rights and threw the name on.
Probably.
Wouldn't be
Well,
the first time.
it's interesting because the way the way the rest of the series works is that it's a different type of recording device. So
Mhm.
it's at least trying to do something different. Like the one in the 80s is like a video camera, so they have to like constantly change the tapes and they have to do, you know, kind of fun, interesting stuff that they need to, just like he has to attach a camera to an oscillating fan. And that I think that was just a glorified excuse for them to like get a fun way to move the camera around to like mess with people. So
Mm.
there's that. Um it's interesting because as you get later in the series, it tries to connect to the first one a lot more. And it's like, okay, this was a choice. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but um yeah, they're trying to like build off of everything that happened in the first movie. So I don't know.
That's
Like, I
I don't like I watched that too long ago to remember what kind of connection there was with it. That
mhm,
would be interesting to go back and watch that. But like this is the kind of film where it's just like I don't need explanation. I don't need backstory. Just
mhm.
like this was creepy. It was a creepy experience. There
Yeah.
you go. That was
Yep.
enough.
Yep. Very true. And this it does suck that this franchise did not did not get the just due that it got, but also this is Hollywood for you. Like, let's wring every last ounce of profitability that we could find from this until we run it into the ground, and that's exactly what they've done with this. And it sucks, but that first one, like you said, will go down as one of
Mhm.
the more creative and one of the better ones. It's definitely for me one of the best theater going experiences I've had for a horror movie because by its very nature, everybody gets scared during horror movies in different ways. But this one was just the theater was packed. Like I was in college. Yeah, it was just a overall really fun experience.
Awesome. I obviously did not watch any of these in the theater. Um, I've had some good horror. Like my weapons
Hmm.
audience was amazing. Well, like I could only imagine what this was like because this was another cultural touch point,
Hmm.
just like Blair Witch was. But I guess Mike, do you have any other thoughts on Paranormal Activity, aka Micah screwed over Katie?
Yep. I really think that this should have been called Micah Gaslights Katie for 86 minutes or so. Um, yeah, like I think that's a good call out that um, Micah is a bit of a douchebag, and had he been a stronger performer or performance
Mhm.
slash a better written character, I think this would have gone down as like an all-timer, but it didn't. And
Mhm.
instead, we get like a very good to borderline great horror movie that is very effective with the way that it uses the camera, the way that
Mhm.
it uses shadows and darkness. It relies a lot on jump scares, but the jump scares get you pretty good. So
Mhm. They
gotta give
certainly
it a
did.
lot of gotta give it a lot of credit for that.
This was creepy and it was spoopy and just in time for, the horror season.
Hmm.
So enjoy for sure. But Mike, thank you so much for coming on as always and talking movies with me.
Of course, looking forward to talking more with you soon.
And next week, I'm going to be doing a double dose of Luc Besson with La Femme Nikita and Subway with our buddy Luke. And next month, Mike and I are going to do a double dose of Tron with Tron and Tron Legacy because, Tron Legacy is old enough to be on the show with a 10-year requirement and
God damn
just
it.
in time for Tron Ares, aka the coolest looking Nine Inch Nails music video ever.
Hmm.
And thank you all for listening. Make sure to like, comment, and share on this episode. What is your go to found footage horror film? Make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. If you want to become part of the crew, reach out to us on our website. You could become a guest on one of our shows, or you can, start your own podcast. You have some ideas, and there's so many great shows with plenty of interest. You'll find something that'll pique your interest. And if you like our logo, check out High Flyer Creative for all your digital marketing needs. But most importantly, thank you as always for tuning in and supporting the Wasteland Retrospective here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network.